Sir Charles Carey here. We've got another live one for you, and I'm really excited about this one, and you should be too, because you just never know what you're going to learn and what you're going to get. So I want you to sit back and take some notes and watch and see if you don't get a lot from this program today. And we'll be right back, okay? Bam. So listen. It's time. It's time. We are not going to delay the moment any longer. These two people that are here today, we met at a conference quite a few years ago, struck up a relationship, developed a friendship, went into business together for a little while, and still remain friends. So, it's just great when you can meet or have like minded individuals on the same page and they come back or they just stay a part of your life to do very significant things. So, without further ado, the Wheatons, Rick and Natasha. Hold on, guys. We're going to bring them right up to the stage. Bam, and there they are. How's it going?
Hey, good. How you
Hi.
doing?
Good to see you. I love the background, all earthy and natural. What's up?
It's our
So,
new look, man.
oh,
The new
it was a
look.
good look too, though. It's a good look. So listen,
Appreciate it.
I like to just jump right into the thick of things. I'll just make a couple of quick announcements, additional announcements. Folks, if you are listening in real time, by all means, you can hashtag live, grab a pen, paper. There may be something you'll pick up along the way. And if you're watching the replay, do the same thing, hashtag replay. And by all means, I highly recommend you may gain a lot from this talk. It's a conversation more so than an interview, but what you'll find if you're not careful, as you're having conversations with people, there's always an opportunity to learn. And that's what I like about life. So, with that being said, Rick, Tasha, how you guys doing? Good?
We're doing great. Yeah.
Doing
Good,
great.
good.
Doing
So
great.
we're gonna go from way back to right now, and we're gonna do that in a small amount of time because I know there's a lot that we can discuss. So now, Tasha, are you from here? Are you born stateside or were you born abroad?
I was born in New Delhi, India.
Nice.
Yep.
And Rick, what about yourself?
Native Washingtonian. Was born and
Oh, you
raised in
weren't born in
D.C.
India too?
I was
I
not
saw
born
you in
in
some
India.
garb, man. You look like you was right at home, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
about
yeah.
two years ago we were there. 3 years ago we were there.
Yeah, but even
Okay.
at the wedding,
Oh yeah,
at
yeah, yeah.
our cousin's wedding, he was in full Indian, and he does.
Look sharp too. Look sharp. So let me just ask you this, Tasha. Let me start with you. How was
Mhm.
life in India growing up as a little girl and maybe a teen? I don't know when you came, but from your time there, growing up until before you came here stateside, how was life for you?
Okay. Amazing. I have amazing memories of India. I was there till I was 7, and then we came out here. My dad took a position with the World Bank, and we came out here. But we kept ties there. And in India, it was amazing growing up because there's a big extended family. So my parents both had active lives, obviously working and social life and all. But there were aunties and uncles and cousins, and you were in all these houses that were all your home. And
Yeah.
so there was just a lot of love. There was a lot of different moms, dads, figures that were there constantly. And then we
Okay.
used to go up to the mountains a lot. And so there was just a lot of, I was a horseback rider
Yeah,
really
I'm gonna say
young.
I saw you with a horse. You had the reins and you were really a little tyke.
Yeah, they said sometimes that they weren't sure if I walked first or rode first. So, yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. And Rick, what about you? Growing up as a kid in the DMV, what was life like for you?
Man, I grew up. Actually, I split areas. I was born in Georgetown University Hospital, And then soon after that, I went to my live with my grandparents. I was born. My mom took care of me, and my mom was a single mother. So part of the challenge I had early on was just not having a dad around, which
Okay.
some folks deal with, and that was kind of a challenge. But what's great, like Tasha said, is that we just had a big family. So I
Mm-hmm.
went to live with my grandparents for a number of years. I came back as a preteen to the DC area. Went to some great schools, made some great friends. The thing I loved about DC when I was a kid was, and it's different now, is that we were always outside. We
Okay.
were
Yeah.
always
Yeah. Yeah.
outside playing, basketball, football,
Tag,
maybe doing
whatever, right?
things we shouldn't have done to tag and stuff we shouldn't have done as well. But it was just a fun time to be outdoors, which is something I really really miss because I literally would stay outside until till the streetlights came on, and if
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in, I had that mom that was like, standing on the stoop calling out my name. So I had to get back. So it was fun time. Middle school, high school, and it was a fun time. And like I said, the challenge though, and these are challenges that people deal with is
Yeah.
not having a dad.
Now, see, the thing I'm listening to and I'm getting, and I think a lot of people miss this. I don't know how many miles it is from India to the States. How many miles is it, you guys?
I don't know. I know it's thousands and thousands because I always love the way the frequent flyer thing goes up.
Good point of
Um,
Yeah,
reference.
but
right.
it's on the other side of the planet. It's
Right.
literally
So, how
halfway
long does
across
it take to get there?
22 hours. Yeah.
So, think about this. If it takes 22 hours to get from India or from New Delhi to the States, wherever, we all had pretty much the same upbringing. And it's amazing. Maybe it shouldn't be, but it's like there's a blueprint to life that as you grow up, the family does raise the children. I mean, you had too many
Mhm.
households to go into. Rick, you expressed the same things about playing until the street lights came on, and I've
Mhm.
heard that story over generations and generations. And the only thing that's changed is times have modernized. Faster, newer, different types of cars, but it's the same lifestyle basically, and we all have been exposed to it. And you would think if we all have that much in common, why can't we just get along better?
Oh, goodness.
That's a
Right.
Yeah,
great question. I agree with you 100%. And that's
yeah.
kind
I
of how
mean,
we live.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
It
our.
hmm
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna
Well,
say it just boggles my mind. I know I'm was it a square trying to fit into a round hole or
mhm.
whatever however it goes, but I accept that because I don't feel that I should change my idealistic beliefs, my desire to gel and to blend with others genuinely, just because a lot of people, or maybe even most, don't. I think we can be better as human beings to one another, regardless of color and age and appearance and stuff like that. But the world has just gone bonkers, man.
It's so true, Charles. And I think that what I think about is especially how we are now is Tasha leads with love.
Mm-hmm.
She's a love bug. And I think that as we get to know people, we just recently relocated to a southern part of the country. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, people, when you sit down and talk to them, we all, like you were saying, we all have the same desires, goals, concerns,
Yep.
background. A lot of us
Mhm.
have
Yep.
dealt with some of the same things. So the way we kind of operate now is let's start from there. Let's
Right.
start from that platform. Let's not prejudge based upon any other criteria that people may put out there, political,
Sure.
spiritual, religious, all those things. And let's
Uh,
start from a baseline of, hey, who are you? What do you want?
how can we
How
serve?
can we serve? How can
Right.
we, help? How can we help one another? And that's kind of, if we are, I think if we all came from that heart, like
Right.
Tasha comes from that loving heart,
Mm-hmm.
and understanding, like you were saying, that we all have a very background that is very, very similar. I think
Yep.
you're right. I think we wouldn't be, it'd be a lot more
And
harmonious.
I,
You
I
know,
even look
Charles.
at I even look at Rick's
Go ahead.
your beginning. You said you didn't have your dad, And I know today there are a lot of families with single parents, or they started with a single parent. Maybe they have a bonus parent. They may not, but the point is, I understand that it could be mind-boggling. It could be painful. It could be just, it just takes can take you out of sorts. But you don't have to stay in that space. I think that instinctively we know right from wrong, and instinctively when you're in a relationship, that is, you even know that, well, I may not have had my mom, or I may not have had my dad around, but I'm with this woman, me and my spouse, we're together, and we desire to have a fruitful family or have a good time together. Even though I was hurt, by not having my parent, that doesn't mean I have to react or act out now that I know right from wrong, now that I am an adult, and I can still have a fruitful life. I really believe that. I'm not
Yeah,
saying it's going to be easy for everyone. I'm just saying that I think that that's not a reason to make it difficult for you, more difficult for yourself.
absolutely. And I think, Rick is so sweet because he always says I lead with love and things like that. But it's really, I kind of have, and he knows this, and my sister says it all the time too. I have these rose colored glasses on, okay? And it's just kind of, it's funny because it's not that I want to believe that everybody's just kind and it's just all beautiful there. But it just feels that's a more natural way to move from,
Yeah.
and yeah, and that just makes it easier and kind of, with everything that we're all dealt, different backgrounds,
Yeah.
parent, not parent, the struggles that we've been given, that kind of love, that kind of one thing that can keep us all together
Mm-hmm.
is definitely something I think
I
that
agree with you
holds.
100%. I mean, I know this. We're gonna move on, but I think that this is a very important aspect of life that many they get it twisted. I mean, don't get me wrong. Once again, I know for certain groups like the African American community, my community in particular, we've had the stack dealt against us. I do believe that although that is true and that is factual, there are and have been things that we've done that we put ourselves in a bad position somewhat too. But at the same time, there's always something to prevent you or make it more challenging for you to get where you want to be, and that's not making an excuse for ourselves or anything like that. But you have to learn in this life, and part of learning in this life is dealing with the tough times. And a good friend of mine always says that tough times don't last, but tough people do. So we have to learn to be tough in life. Okay, fine, you may not have had, um, the kind of food you want for a period of time, but that will pass and you'll have the opportunity to eat the kind of steaks, if you like steaks or whatever it is you like.
Hmm.
Everything happens for a reason, and there's a season. But let's move on. I mean, I know that you guys have been together for some time, and you're living your best lives from the perspective I see it. And tell us a little bit about who you are today.
I appreciate what you just said because part of what this is all about is growth and
Mm-hmm.
continued growth, and a desire to want to grow. And
Yep.
as you said, we have these seasons, and
Mm-hmm.
people can get trapped in seasons. I've been trapped in seasons where I wasn't willing to grow. So, Tasha came into my life about 10, 11 years ago,
Okay.
and that to me was an opportunity for growth.
Mm-hmm.
We are both entrepreneurs. We both are entrepreneurial minded, like you were talking about earlier. Is being that square peg in a round hole.
Mm-hmm.
I was uncomfortable being that for a period of time because I just thought I was supposed to go down a certain road and be like the normal road of what everybody else does. And
Right.
meeting Tasha, who was adventurous, entrepreneurial, somebody who challenged the status quo. It made me kind of think about what we really wanted to do, and she kind of caught me at a time when I was in a little bit of a crisis health wise, And our journey kind of began with, me making a final decision after having to grow, because it took me about 2 years to make the decision,
Okay.
um, to take back my health, to lean into some of the entrepreneurial pursuits that she kind of brought to the table. You know, start believing in and understanding that I didn't have to go down one road. There's not just one road. There's multiple roads, and
Right.
the journey is, and it's a lifelong journey, is finding that road that's a fit for you. So,
Mm.
I kind of started there with her, and I'll let her share a little bit.
You know, Charles, when Rick and I first met, it's quite a funny story actually, but we met at a networking event. As you know, we
Okay.
are networkers, so it's
Yep.
only fitting that we met at a networking event. But I was just really, it's like they talk about love at first sight, and
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't love at first sight, but it was being mesmerized with the possibility of, and it wasn't about love or how he looked. I mean, he's very handsome. I mean, it's very
Okay.
easy on the
Thanks.
eyes.
Right. There you
But
go.
it wasn't that. He and I started talking about um, our visions and where we wanted to be and the impact we wanted to have. And I remember talking to him, and like it was so like connected to what I wanted and I was pursuing,
Mm-hmm.
but he actually spoke it into words.
So it was a spiritual
And
connection.
I think it was, it was definitely spiritual was there. It was, I really walked away that evening like, what just happened and who was that? And not in a way of, I gotta have, like not in a,
No, no, I get it. Yeah, everything is
oh,
not always about the physical attraction or the romantic
yeah,
aspect. Sometimes you're just
yeah.
attracted to a being for their
It was a
genuine presence in
yeah,
what they have to offer as a being. I get that.
exactly. So it was this very, and I meet people all the time and I was out and all, but there was this like, wow, oh, and it was not an unfamiliar. It was so comfortable. It was like, oh, there you are,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think that's how we started. And yeah, he did come from, corporate America and a lawyer by background and all. And he had all that, but
Right.
then he had this adventure, which when we'd talk and we'd open our hearts up and all was so there. But in times of like building up to where we got to a point where we could actually live the adventure, there were times, where he wasn't sure or, and we're both
Like most relationships.
yeah, and we're
Yeah,
both,
but
and
that's
that's
just life, though, right? We have our ups and downs and our uncertainties, and we got these great plans, and all of a sudden it's like, I think maybe, and then, this is my opinion, it's up to the two people to affirm one another and
hmm
to put it out there. Whatever. I don't know if we should do this. I don't know if this is gonna work. What do you think? Can we do this?
right.
When I'm down, you pull me up. When you're down, I pull you up. And when we're both up, we kill it. You know?
True.
It's so
And
true.
Charles,
Very
here's the
true.
thing. So we were doing that, but we're also very fiery people. We're very strong. We're very strong, opinionated. We're very okay on our own as well. We're better together, but we're both strong people. So, I mean, I'll tell you, I mean, it's been a challenge. There's challenges involved with, the peaks that we've gotten to and where we are.
Right.
Some of them, difficult, even within our relationship.
But I think what that speaks to is like what Charles was talking about earlier, is those seasons we go through
Yeah.
Yes.
and the
Yeah. Yeah.
growth that we go through as ironing, sharpening iron.
Yep.
The willingness to want to grow. And I
Yes.
Yep.
think that's what for both of us is as we've gone through this journey, and as she said, we have our peaks and valleys, but to stay at the peaks, we realize that it's about the growth. It's about not about me. It's about serving her. It's about seeing how I can be better in a relationship, seeing how I can be a better husband, friend. I can be a better business partner. All those things that challenge me to be better. And when I want to bump my head against the brick wall back here, that's the growth. That's
And
the
you know
time
what
when it's like,
though?
okay, keep hitting that wall, or you can like say, okay, let's listen in and lean into it a little bit more, and then give in and serve as opposed to hitting that brick wall.
And even though no one really wants it, we don't always see it. Sometimes it's good to have those valleys because then you can appreciate the peaks a lot better. I mean, let's be honest, no one wants a bad time. No one wants to have a drought or a period of time when the revenue is not coming in. But the reality is, when you do have those moments, that gives you a chance to go to your provider, your support each other, and humble yourself and realize and maybe even recalibrate. And I believe it's important you recalibrate, refresh, you reposition yourself, and maybe even sometimes reinvent or rebrand. There's a lot of
Sure.
reason there, but they all serve a purpose. And many times, people that are always gung ho and on fire, they would not know how to handle some down times, or they don't handle them very well. I'll put it like that. Well,
Yeah.
my co-host isn't here today. My
I
co-host is
know. I was
it,
waiting. I was looking forward to
yeah,
meeting
that's my
David.
girl, my daughter. I love her so much.
Hmm.
She's got her fitness brand. She's got her ideas. She's trying
Amazing.
to do all these different things, and
Great.
she's going to get them done. I like to give her space to breathe on her own, but at the same time, because I've been doing or been an entrepreneur for a long time from different angles, I give her whatever I can, and depending on what she's in need of. But we have questions we want to ask you, so we want to ask you some questions,
Okay.
and it's up to you to say the first thing that comes to your mind, and whatever you feel or you think, that's all good. So I'm going to start with the first thing, and we've got a bunch of questions. So here we go. What's
All right.
happiness to you?
What's happening? Is that what?
No,
Happiness.
what's
Oh,
what's
what's
happiness?
happiness to you?
Yeah.
Um. Okay. Just joy, like love, love. Like
Okay.
that's the first word that comes to me.
Okay.
To be in the state of um,
Mm.
is
Wow.
yeah, for me.
Yeah. What about you, Rick?
Wow. I think happiness is when I feel that I'm in a space that I can give to myself,
Mm.
and which allows me to be more giving to others. So
Okay.
happiness to me is when I'm in a state, a personal state, where I'm feeling good, confident, um, you know, good about myself and what's going on, so that I can be more open to being a better person to others.
Right.
So,
Wow, that's good. I don't normally throw my own answer in there, but for myself, I would say that happiness is sometimes, because I guess Tasha kind of like made me think of something I always say, being in a state of being, just
Mhm.
not just existing like, a nomad, but being whereas I don't necessarily want anything. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm not expecting anything. It's not
Right.
about money. It's just being able to appreciate being in the state of being. Sometimes it just feels so good. It's like you can appreciate your surroundings. You can appreciate everything that's in your space, internal space, your external space, and it's sometimes a very good feeling. So
Absolutely.
here's another question: if you could have an alter ego, who would you be? Whatever answer it is, your normal selves, a fictitious character, it does whatever. Who would your alter ego be?
wow, when I grew up, man, I'll tell you, there were two characters that I loved the most:
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man and the Black Panther. And what I loved about those alter egos were they seemed to be somewhat normal people on the surface, but with the ability to be super when necessary and being powerful when necessary. being vulnerable when necessary, and you know, kicking butt and taking names when necessary. So I really, I see, superheroes are kind of like that alter ego, and Spider-Man, the way that he showed up as kind of an ordinary person, and Black Panther, those were the two characters I grew up loving the most, and probably the alter egos I would love. The Black Panther was just, I mean, that's just sheer beauty. When you see a Black Panther,
Yeah.
it's and blue or steel gray eyes, it's just a
That
beautiful,
coat
beautiful being in that
sleekness.
coat.
Yeah.
And in fact, I had, and you may relate to this. I had one of those velvet paintings of one that you put the black light on it, that it would make it, the
Yeah.
image light up
I
with the
remember
black
those
light. So,
days. Yeah.
so I,
Yeah.
I that those are two kind of alter egos I would say.
Hmm. You know, I lost my mom when I was 18,
Hmm.
and
Sorry to hear that.
she was a huge force in our life. And I was really lucky to have aunts who raised me, who were her first cousins, because she was an only child, who were also huge forces. And my mom gave me that kind of thing of being able to talk to people and be in the community. And she was very social, and she was much more social than me, actually. But I always, I think, if I could have an alter ego, I would want her ability to be calm. Sometimes I think it's too much. Like there's that, everybody's saying that these days. Like some people may not get you. They're not your people. You might be
Mm.
too much for some people.
Yeah.
Like I feel like sometimes I might be too much. And sometimes I think that if I had and I'm one of those people, Charles, that like, you know, only the good die young, God takes the ones he wants and stuff like that. So like she was the real deal, like she could work a
Right.
room and she could make people feel so loved and everything, and yet she had this calmness about her, and this state of being, like you were
Mm-hmm.
saying, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I got a little bit more of my dad's fiery side, unfortunately.
Well, you know how that goes.
So,
The best of both
yeah.
worlds.
But I
But
never really thought of it like as I mean, Wonder Woman was my hero, but
mm-hmm.
I've never really thought of an alter ego that way, except like having some calm, or like just her grace, I just
Yeah.
that
I
grace.
think sometimes some people don't realize or don't believe that there are people that can be genuine and they really don't want anything from you. They don't want to do
Right.
anything to you. They're just being kind or nice because that's who they are, and they're showing up as their authentic selves. And it's so, I hate to say it, not the norm that people look
Yeah.
at you like, "What are you up to?" And nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like, no, just no. I'm just saying hi. That's all. Because I'll talk
Right.
to
Or
like
I'm
like
having
probably
a
like you guys.
conversation, or
I'll speak to anybody. I don't care how high up the chain you are, or how low. It really matters not to me. Everyone should be able to receive kindness,
yeah.
acknowledgement, just because you are a living human being. And again, I hate to say it, and it may not make sense to some people. I shouldn't say I hate to say it, but even the crudest of people deserve respect. They may not
Right.
give it, which makes it hard for people to say they don't deserve it, but everyone deserves acknowledgement or respect. They say it all the time. Babies cry for it and men die for it, and that's attention.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Charles, that's so true. Like where we are, we're in
Mm-hmm.
different parts and moving around and things like that. But it's like sometimes I'll get a little, because for me, it's just meeting people and making that human connection. It's what keeps me alive. Like I love that. That's just being able to talk or connect with someone, and I get, and I feel like you can tell when the people just kind of feel like, what's with her, or like, what does she want, or you know what I mean? And I'm
Yep.
like,
I
really,
sure
no,
do.
I just want to.
Look at. Look, I
We're
never fit in
connected.
That's
anywhere I
right,
go unless I'm around like-minded people. A lot of times people look at me like, "Do you have to talk to everybody? Did you
Oh,
know? Oh, did you know that guy?" I'm like, "No, you act like you knew him. It was
yeah,
just a genuine interaction. It didn't have to amount to anything. I mean,
right.
yeah, I got books, but every time I see someone, I'm not trying to sell a book or a CD, or it's just like,
Sure.
hey, how you doing? I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm a,
My
I'm a corn
kids,
I'm a cornball.
my kids would say that to us all the time.
All the time.
See,
You got to talk to everybody.
right,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. We got a comment. Someone said, "Great dialogue with a great couple. Thanks for sharing your stories." I can't see their name
Oh,
because it just
Aw,
says Facebook user, but that's great. Definitely thank you for your comment.
thank you. Yes, thank you.
thank you.
How are you both finding ways to network during this pandemic? That's another question just popped in.
Okay, so this is exciting. We just actually, I mean, we network
C4,
before the
right?
pandemic, obviously, yes, but I run C4, and during before the pandemic, it was in person, it was at All Set, it was at different other venues and doing happy hours and lunches and so forth. Through the pandemic, we switched to Zoom and did the first and third Tuesdays of the month. And then over the past month and a half, we took a break because of the summertime and because of us downsizing, getting rid of
Okay.
things, relocating, moving. And yesterday, was it yesterday?
Tuesday. Tuesday.
Tuesday. It was Tuesday. We had the first C4 Zoom again start back up.
Nice.
So go back to the two times a month on Zoom. And here's the thing, because people are, meeting again and things like that, but we are on the road. So this might be the first time people hear about this, Charles, here on your show, which is really amazing.
Way to
So
go.
we have this plan, and it's going to be the Adventures of R&T. And you know that book when you were a kid called Where's Waldo?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we're gonna do Where's Weedon, and it's going to be a hashtag Where's Weedon, and we're going to start travels. We've been blessed with family, friends, and teammates,
Colleagues.
colleagues around the country, and as we start to set off to kind of go around, and we're going to take our networking with us. So
Smart.
um, while we're here in this southwestern Virginia area, we get out, we meet people. We just met a wonderful woman today who owns a beautiful boutique, and it's just connecting and then saying, it doesn't have to be just in one area. So I'm really trying to make C4 and make networking more of a no boundaries kind of thing. If you have a
Okay.
business that it can be everywhere, that you can do that.
Well, that's
So
great. That's great because I think sometimes, one of the best pieces of advice, and I've said this so many times, people probably will tell me what I'm about to say, but one of the best pieces of advice I was given as an adult, even, was to trust myself. A coach said, trust yourself. Just trust yourself. And I was like, that's not the answer I'm looking for. How do you do this thing? And then I started thinking about it. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. I'm like, yeah, because I do believe in the spirit of discernment. I do believe in, I'll just say, for lack of a better expression, a higher power, the one that resides within as well. And I do believe that we have all that we need. It's just that, excuse me, sometimes we're not positioning ourselves the right way to take advantage of what we already are harnessing. So when he said trust yourself, and it settled on me, that made a lot of sense. And I'm seeing as your ideas are coming up about how you're going to do, where's the Weedons, or what is it? Where's Weedon, or where are the Weedons?
where's Weedon?
Where's Weedon? So that's a great idea, and having the
He thinks
ability.
I should put an S on
I
it,
think it's
but
Weedon's.
it's Where's Waldo?
Nah, where's
And
Weedon? Well, I mean, I'm
we're,
not going to get into that. I'm
we're
going to step out of
one.
that.
We are
We are
one.
one. We are one.
There you go. Where's Wheaton? Yeah, the R&T show, right?
Yeah.
But today on the R&T show, we're talking about where's Wheaton. If you can guess, look, if you can
Charles, I
guess,
just, especially after this year and a half, this whole time we've all gone through, where, you know, I mean, just so much of just struggle and stuff, and good things and silver linings. And I mean, we've been blessed and grateful, and I think it's really, I just want to tell people to do that. Like what you said earlier, be in a place of being
Yeah.
and do things. If this time hasn't shown us we have this one life and it's not promised, tomorrow is not promised, you know,
I
then I
totally
don't know
agree.
what.
I totally agree. I think it was this is an old school guy named Lou Rawls from back
Yeah.
in the days. He had the
Oh yeah.
song. He says, "You only have one life to live. Live it in peace. Live it in
Hmm.
love." You know,
Hmm.
and it
That's
just
right.
made so much sense. But I got a couple more questions for you. So,
Okay.
Kate Fit, my daughter, she put these questions together. So here we go.
Awesome.
Presently, are you living or existing? That's probably an easy one.
Oh,
Well, let me first because we didn't say this in the beginning, Sir Charles. We're grateful that you brought us on your show, and we're very thankful that KFIT put these questions together for us.
yes.
And those of you who get a chance to be a part of this, this is great. So thank you. And so we want to just give you the flowers now. So
Thank you. I appreciate that.
um,
Absolutely.
yeah, but we're living, man. I think,
This.
part of what we've manifested over the last couple years, because Tosh and I have been talking about, we're getting to that empty nesting stage. We want to travel. We want to see the country. We want to meet people, as she said, and be more in service to people about what we're about, and enjoying what this life has to offer.
Mm,
So 2 years ago, she was talking about RVs, she was talking about downsizing, and I was getting excited because I'm like, yes, we can downsize, get rid of all this stuff.
right.
And I think that we came to the conclusion um, earlier this spring that it's time to live. It's time for us to kind of do some things, and things kind of fell into place. Circumstances kind of happened, allowed it to fall into place, and we decided, because I think all things are about decision making
Hmm.
as opposed to having decisions made on you, we decided to start living.
There you
And
go.
we've just been having a lot of fun in the process. And obviously, it's definitely it's work too. I mean, because it's not fun 24/7. There's no
Right.
such thing. However, there is growth, as we talked about before. There is meeting new people. There's new adventures. There's new possibilities that we see. And for us, it's time to live. And I think we're living, which
Yeah.
is
Living our best life.
yes, instead of existing.
Yeah, I want to get that. Thanks.
Okay, here's another one that she's come up with. I think it's a bit of a challenge, but it's real. And do you believe in the American dream, as some call it? You know.
Hmm.
I think I think you can define it the way you want to. I think we're fortunate and blessed to be in a country where, despite all the challenges and difficulties that have happened for 400 years of its growth, as far as black folk being involved, and in the growth of this nation, and indigenous folks and what they've had to go through, and folks from other cultures who've come in, even the majority cultures. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
some Irishmen and so forth, when they came, and Frenchmen had
Mm-hmm.
challenges associated with being in this country, but it's still the opportunity that you can be blessed to do what you want to do thus
Yeah.
far. And we're so grateful that we do have that ability. We're looking at we got a picture painting that says "Live the life you love,"
Yeah.
and I think that's in this country. You can live the life you love. However, you got to be willing to do a few things. You got to be willing to pay some prices. You got to be willing to grow. You got to be willing to
Get uncomfortable.
get uncomfortable, get out of that comfort zone. You got to be willing to, as you said before, which I believe, trust in the higher power that has created such miraculous opportunities and visions for us, even just through the physical visions of the mountains or the trees. that how powerful that is, that we have that opportunity within inside ourselves to be that powerful if we're listening to that inner voice as you were reflecting on earlier. So go ahead, baby.
Charles, being born in India and another country, and then coming over here and all, and just kind of raised by my parents were very international and educated in England, things like that. But the American dream was something different that I saw as a kid than what I see today.
Please expand
Um,
on that. Yes.
yeah. So, I mean, this country really, if you think about it from the beginning, was really built on entrepreneurial
Yes, it
mindsets. And,
was.
it was built on taking risks and getting out of comfort zones and doing things that had never been done before and, you
Sacrifice?
know, building roads, sacrificing, all that. And that I feel has been lost here,
Mm.
and people have become sheeple, and it's kind of like they just are following the other like people are just listening to whatever's being told to them
Yep.
on TV, or by there's some person who's decided they know it all, or a politician, or there's you know you're just not, you're not thinking for yourself anymore. You're and
Did you say
what is
sheeple?
happening? Sheeple
Yeah,
instead of people.
exactly.
Be a person, not a sheep.
But the
No,
good, but
I
um
got you. I'm with you.
so
there's
I
a good
mean,
thing about that though, in terms of when the season comes, if people do kind of wake up and are willing to change direction, there is opportunity for them to do so here, as opposed to some places that I've visited in, Central America or in India, where we've gone, where there's immense poverty, and it's hard for that upward mobility to happen in some places, um, even if you do kind of take the
India's,
initiative
yeah.
to do so.
Yeah, I agree. I'm talking about the human spirit probably more.
That's true.
Um, I do, we see it most in the States, I think, just because we are here.
Right.
But just that um, I think, and maybe, I used to think that the pandemic was God's way of saying, y'all are just misbehaving, and, you don't get
Maybe.
along with each other, and you don't get along, you're not taking care of yourselves, each other, the planet, nothing. So go to your room for a while.
But I think it also, just let me interject to you here real quickly, that I talked about playing outside when I was a kid. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't have as much technology as we have now. Now I think technology is
Right.
a blessing in many ways, but I also think that it's been a
A curse.
hardship on
Yeah,
us.
hardship. Yep.
Absolutely hardship and a challenge, because people have become so reliant on technology and on things that were not as adventurous and risk oriented as Tasha was talking about.
True, and frankly, I've just lost that great lost art of conversation
Yep,
or communication.
communication.
We've turned
You
into an
know,
IG world. It's all about IG, and I'm not talking about Instagram. I'm talking about instant gratification. You know,
Absolutely.
yeah,
so people stop. They
exactly.
start. They excuse me. They stop trying. They don't sacrifice. They have a here now, want it now mindset. They want the results without the work.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's it.
That's why I talked about paying the price.
And I think the American dream was really about a dream. Like
Mm.
I mean, most people don't remember their dreams.
Yeah.
And that's so sad. And I think that's really what breaks my heart, and wants why Rick and I do what we do, because you know to show people there is a better way, there is a healthier way, there is a wealthier way, there is a more way, to an imagination way, there's it's all possible.
Yeah.
But to you have to get off that couch and turn off that TV, and you've got to, maybe
Get
do
outside of your
something.
comfort zone, man. Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
something
Exactly.
different.
My co-host, she's online. She says you're a beautiful couple. She loves your
Oh,
responses, and she's really right here riding the wave with us. She was a little bit under the
Tell
weather.
her you.
Yes,
Beautiful
thank you. Thank you.
K
Thank
questions.
you.
K
Thank
Fit,
you.
if you're
K-Fit,
still
you
there, I
gotta
hope you're
meet.
still hearing this. She says, "How do you
Yes.
feel about America's VP being from India?" Oh, she's got of Indian descent. Kamala Harris. She made history today as she met with the Prime Minister of India, the White House, for the first time. Okay, she's hearing it. Okay, yeah. So I don't know if that comment came from her also.
Oh,
Yeah. Excuse me, let me just turn this off.
you got an alarm going off over here when to turn off.
It's all
There it
good.
goes.
All good.
So, yeah, I mean, Kamala Harris, amazing. I'll be honest. I think she's great. I mean, she's a beautiful woman, and she's doing some great things. I think during the whole thing, it was so funny because we are of color. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm from India. Rick's African American. You're African American. So I think during the time when it was all about Kamala, it was like when it suited people, she was Indian, and when it suited people, she was African American, and I was like, okay,
Right. Exactly.
oh, we've got an African American in the White House. No, actually, you have a Southeast Asian African American. So I'm just so happy that she's there. I mean, that there's, we are seeing that where, Obama and Kamala and
And the fact
yeah,
that it's a
I
woman too,
love
because I'll be honest with you, I must admit, my only concern, which is not really founded or based on anything solid, was, how balanced, if we have a woman president, how balanced would she be in the midst of controversy or in the midst of, you know, on the verge of war or in the midst of war, would she
yeah,
make sound decisions? And I realized that the decisions are not just hers alone to make. Her joint chiefs of staff are there to support her, but just like
sure.
they have executive decisions, would, things fare well. But outside of that, I don't think there's a reason, I don't see a problem with having a woman president, regardless of her nationality. And I
No.
think this really opens up the door for many things to come in the future. So,
Oh, sure. And to answer K-Fit, also, all for it. I mean, I grew up, India had an amazing prime minister, Indira Gandhi, who was a woman years ago. And I mean, so just having women leaders is not foreign or something,
right.
unexpected or, and certainly, not for it. But yeah, I'm super happy. She's amazing. She's
Yeah,
great.
she
And
was also saying that in New York we have a female mayor now. So we're gonna get down
yeah,
to the brass tacks in life. There's a couple of about two or three serious questions that maybe not cause some
okay.
deeper thought. Um, what has been your greatest weakness?
Hmm.
Wow, that's a great question. Um, I think for me, my greatest weakness has been when I'm not willing to grow, when I'm not willing to humble out, when I'm not willing to, listen to my inner voice. I think when I try to listen for myself and try to do for myself and try to be in myself
Mm-hmm.
is my greatest weakness. Um, when I pull myself out of those types of thoughts or thinking or patterns, that alleviates that weakness. And I see that I'm stronger than that by not allowing myself to stay in that place. So part of my greatest weakness is learning how to, be more out of myself,
Mm-hmm.
and not turning inward. Because if I turn inward, then I'm just not the person I was meant to be on this planet. I'm not the
Okay.
person that I need to be as a partner, as a husband. I'm not the business partner. I'm not a good relative. Um, so that's probably one of my greatest weaknesses.
So here's the challenge for Tasha. I'm not going to ask her to answer the same question. However, I will ask her What would you tell your 18-year-old self? Almost the same thing, but a little different.
Um, what
Come
would
on, it
I
was only
tell
2 years ago. What's the problem?
I would tell her, um, I would tell her to, first of all, go into entrepreneurship much sooner than I did.
Okay.
Rush in there quickly. I would have told her to do that for sure. But I would have also told her that not don't worry, like everything's going to be okay. Because I think
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time with worry.
Mm.
And like I said, lost my mom young, and so my dad and my sister. So kind of had to kind of take control of family and stuff like that. So there was just always there was. I think I let a lot of fear in the word fear of false evidence appearing real,
Mm-hmm.
make some decisions in my life that I could have avoided and
Right.
not had to live through, you know. Um, and I'm sure Rick can think of
No,
some
no,
things
I can
I could
sure
tell
question.
my
It's
18
all
year
good.
old.
It's all good. Just want to make a
You
quick.
know what, Charles? I say this because this man is really my human diary. Sometimes I feel like he knows me better than I know myself. And usually those are the times when I don't want to feel like he knows me
But you know
better than I
what?
know myself.
It's so funny you say that. I think, wow, and it's hard to say this, but because I've gone through this also, I think it's part of your responsibility to know your person, but it should not be
Yeah.
a burden. It's like it should be like a labor of love. You observe them, you listen to what they say, what they don't say, you know their mannerisms,
Mhm.
and sometimes they need that because they may not feel themselves, but we both partners need it. Again,
Mm-hmm.
when you're down, he's up. When he's down, you're up. And when you're both up, look out world. That's the way to me. Again, I'm an idealistic, I'm an old soul, old
Yeah.
cornball romantic in my own way.
Don't
um
change. Don't
that's
change.
that's the way it should be. And
Absolutely.
if I were to never love again, it wouldn't matter. That to me is the way that life should be lived and led as well. So so what's going on? Do you guys are still with isogenics? You got some other things. What are you guys doing?
So yeah, man, as entrepreneurs that are passionate about making a difference in people's lives through sharing of information and uplifting people, we are with Isogenics. We're partnered with them for a great high quality fulfillment company in the area of nutrition.
Mhm.
But we've also kind of expanded that and created or been a part of a group that's created called ER Shred, Elimination Reset Shred, where we're showing people, man, some principles of health that I never knew existed when I started with this company 8 years ago. We're
Mm,
kind of just to kind of cap it. It's kind of taking people back to ancestral ways of eating and living, along with the 21st century supplementation that is necessary in a toxic world that we live in.
wow.
Beautiful.
So it's really kind of a combination of that, along with other remedies that we offer, but we're really about uplifting and leveling up people who are ready for that
Okay.
to enter their life. Who are in that season of openness,
Yeah.
that they're looking for ways that they can level up themselves physically, financially, grow as people, and we can be there to help support in whatever way we can be there.
Well,
So
that's great.
Charles, thank you. Since we saw you saw you last and everything, so yeah, partnered with Isogenics, we created our platform called Wealth Through Wellness, and
Okay.
that kind of has a space for all that what Rick said. Definitely health solutions in different areas of aging, weight, inflammation, just getting the body into balance and really taking control. But just again, through going through this pandemic and where people were left without incomes and work and all, we're really passionate about showing people a way to create community income, community building that's in their own control. So something like a job loss or illness or a pandemic doesn't take them out, you know.
Mm,
So there's that. And then just, we partner with some amazing people like you, coaches who are there to help change the mindset.
yep.
Nothing happens in the body when the mind isn't right.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of that spiritual thing. But, it really is just about living our best life and who can we serve and how can we help. And, that's just where we are.
Yeah, you guys have an amazing story. That's why I'm gonna have to have you guys come back again because K Fit,
Okay.
she's really kind of like in alignment with your journey. Her with the health and the health and fitness, and she does meal prep,
Oh,
and things of that
lovely.
nature. So, hopefully we can have you come back another time when she's here, and maybe we can have a show
Great.
based more on the nutritional and health and wellness perspective. Maybe that can be a theme, and we can just have a bunch of great information being shared so that people can get what they really need, and at least if people don't want to take advantage of it, there's nothing we can do, but we can at least put it out there for them.
Like
Yeah.
you said, Sir Charles, radiating the brain, getting people to really open their mindset, as Tasha was talking about. And once we can get the mindset open to understanding and appreciating the bigger game,
Yep.
because it is a game. It's a game. If we talk about our political system, the
Yeah.
corporate system, the food
Food industry.
commercialized
That's right.
industry, it's all a game. And if we can kind of get our minds around that and our hearts around serving others and then around what the possibilities are, man, watch
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
Watch
yeah.
out.
And it's funny. Next week we have um, Dr. Lane Rowling coming next week. He is a virologist and a
Mm,
trauma surgeon, and he's going to be talking about this pandemic and things that he knows, not theories, but things that he knows um, that are instrumental, that are helpful, that are faux pas about what we're doing, how we're living.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's just he's
That's
going to hit.
huge.
Yeah, he's going to hit the ball out the park. I've already listened to him interview with other people, and I just can't wait for him to come on because I think people need to hear the real deal. I understand what mass hysteria is about, and I know that the government feels they have a responsibility to prevent that, which is true. But I also think they have a bigger responsibility to tell people the truth. And I'm not totally confident that they're getting, all of the eggs in the basket. I think there's certain things being left out. So he's going to fill in the blanks next week. So it's
That's
all
good
so
stuff.
good.
exciting.
Good
Yeah.
stuff.
So,
I'm see.
Charles, you're doing such amazing things. I started watching this show and everything, and I just
Mhm.
think it's wonderful, and we
Thank
want
you
to
so
just
much. I appreciate it.
get it
I
out there.
I started thinking about, of course, Change the Brain is a platform, and what's your come up story? The reason is because everyone does have a story, and many people
Mhm.
feel that, oh, I'm too old, or nobody wants to hear what I have to say, or no one's interested. But the truth is, you never know how easy or how simplistic or how meaningful your thing is. Whatever your thing is, it's because of you. You may be the subject matter expert in that area of doing your thing. I don't care if it's carpentry, if it's cooking, if it's music or
Mhm.
writing a book. That's your sweet spot. And so many people just, I think Dr. Miles Monroe said it best. There's so many wealthy people in the graveyard because they never wrote their books.
That's
And I
exactly
went on
right.
to say, well, they never created the patents, they never made the copyrights, they never made the inventions. So, if it's to be, it's up to me. And if not you, who, and if not now, when. So I think that's really important. And with that
Love
being
it.
said, folks, just definitely thank you for being on the show. I want to ask Kate Fit if she has any exiting questions because she's been watching the show. I'm
Yay.
going back in if she's got any questions. And thank you, Sharon Parker, for adding my sweetheart, adding your questions and comments.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you, Sharon.
And let's see if KFit has any questions or any comments before we close out. So far, it doesn't seem like she's saying anything. So I'm going to count that she's good. Count that as a thumbs up. And once again, I thank you guys. We got to hold on. What's that? Something came in. Oh, contact information. Where can we follow you?
That's great.
Well, we're on Rick Weedon and Natasha Weedon on Facebook. We're Rick and Tasha on Instagram. We have a Well Through Wellness page on Facebook and a Well Through Wellness page on Instagram. We're both on LinkedIn as well.
Nice.
On wellthroughwellness.com.
Okay. And for those of you that have been watching, we've been speaking with Rick and Natasha Weedon. This has been great information. I advise you just to, get pen and paper, watch it out, put hashtag replay if you're watching in the replay. If you've been watching it live, thank you for your time. That is something you can never, ever get back. Know that we've got a couple of things coming up, so I want you guys to know about that. See if I can share that with you right now. On tomorrow, I've been in the trenches working towards some things that are very meaningful to me, and let's see if I can share it with you right here. Bam, there it is. Tomorrow is the debut of the single Crazy Love by the Free Band, featuring myself, Sir Charles Carey, as well as DJ Louie Lou on the ones and twos. So tomorrow will be the documentary, which takes place at, the documentary is at 7 p.m. You can watch it on Facebook. It's no cost. And also tomorrow will be the debut of not just the single being released, but also the music video. So we have a lot going on, and we're excited about it. And then, of course, after that, we have another project coming up. Let me see if I can share that with you, which I know I can. It's called In the Morning. This is a remix single titled In the Morning by yours truly, Sir Charles Carey. Also co-written by my good friend Carl T. Smith. And once again, I'm excited about it because this is what I do. This is what I love. Music has always been a big part of my life. I've just taken breaks. It never broke. I broke. So it's all good. So thanks again, folks. And y'all have a great night. And we're looking forward to the next time.